Hi, nobody, because the 21s are playing in a minute, so no one should be watching this live. I mean, we don't get loads live anyway, but today, zero. Welcome to episode 174 of the Mighty Whites podcast. We've had a break because so did football. How's things, Casey?
I can't remember why we had a break from football.
I don't know. Some archaic thing that makes no sense. I believe.
Oh, VAR.
Yeah, that's the one. But you know, once in a great while, we are privileged to experience a television event so extraordinary it becomes part of our shared heritage. 1969, man walks on the moon. 1971, man walks on the moon again. Then for a while, nothing happened. Until Sunday. Behold, the future of football, Willie Nonto. They press and press. Yeah, I couldn't think of anything else that was nothing happened for The Simpsons. But something did happen. I mean, real football happened in League One and League Two, but I'm a privileged Premier League fan, so I don't pay attention to that anymore. But there was an international break. It was dull, because it always is. But I suppose the headlines from a Leeds perspective are, well, first, Willie Nonto showing that he really isn't an under-21s player.
Willie Nonto, Italian, but Italian international, fully fledged. It feels like we're back under BL. So no, pal, get in the 23s.
Well, what I would say is he's not in the 21s tonight in the game that's kicking off in 15 minutes. So, but no, he came on against England and he looked pretty lively. He did fairly well, and then he started against Hungary, and by the sounds of it, didn't have a great game, but did I'd like to say created the first goal, but what he did was get to a short back pass, and the scramble resulted in a goal.
He created it through his own hard work.
Yeah. Did you even bother watching England-Italy?
No.
All right. I was going to say, what did you think of his performance? But if you didn't even bother, fair enough.
I saw the last 15 minutes of England-Germany.
If that was the best bit to watch.
Yeah. It was. Well, I'll say that. I listened to the second half in the car, and then finished the rest of it when I got home. I'm very glad I didn't watch the first half.
Oh, it was dull. I'm very glad I went round and watched it with my dad, because it was dreadful.
Rightly, I was during the Italy game. I was out for that one, and you and friend of the podcast Alex Benison were texting, going, "This is dreadful."
Yeah, that sounds about right. What wasn't dreadful, and someone who I thought that there was an outside chance might sneak on the bench on Sunday, but he's starting for the 21, so I doubt it. But Sonny Perkins, I believe, played 3 games for the under-19s and scored 5.
Solid.
Scored 1 and then a first half hat trick and then 1 again, I think. So his goals to games record this season now is it's 12 in 8 or something like that.
Sonny Haaland over here.
Yeah. He was asked. Jesse Marsh was asked about him in press conference. Well, he was asked about the sort of young players and the gap between the 21s and the first team, and he sort of brought up Gray, Perkins, Darko JB, and was like, "No, these are always training with the first team." And he made it sound like if Perkins gets his fitness up so that he can really run his ass off for 90 minutes, he'll be involved.
Mm.
Yeah, he mentioned Matteo Joseph as well for the same thing. And then you talk about Sonny Haaland, but Erling Haaland's goal record is like a goal every 60 minutes this season. And thanks to James Marshman on Twitter, this lad's is 55. Luis Sinisterra got 3 goals in 2 Colombia games, despite only playing 45 minutes in each game. And yeah, that means club and country a goal every 55 minutes this season.
Better than Haaland.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot the word ergo.
Yeah. No, he's looking like a serious footballer, isn't he? With the timings, I mean, it's probably quite good for our game Sunday because it gives him an extra day to recover, because their last game was sort of early hours of Wednesday morning, wasn't it?
Yeah.
so it'll give him a little bit more time to get sorted. There was loads more that played, but there's not really any point getting into it because I've sort of switched off from football in that big gap, if I'm being totally honest.
Well, a royal death will do that to you, though. It just makes you take stock of what you really care about.
And what I really care about is Leeds versus Aston Villa. Yep, we're getting into it that quick because this one is going to be short, and then next week we'll be back into the regular run of things.
Well, as I remember rightly, several months ago when we last played, we put up a battling display against some London side. We were very unlucky to not come away with a point from it.
I was just gonna not mention it. Yeah, I was just gonna pretend that game never happened because it's fine as far as I'm concerned. But it'll probably come up at one point during this. So, Villa. They've got a couple of long-term injuries. Diego Carlos, he did like his ACL before he'd even played a game, didn't he? And I think he did play a couple, but not many. Boubacar Kamara's out as well. And then Steven Gerrard's done his press conference today. Luca Dean's out and Matty Cash is out. So that's both their fullbacks. So it's looking like they'll have a back four that's it'll be like Martinez in goal and then probably one of Chambers or Conser at right back, the other one at right centre back, Mings and Ashley Young at left back, because I don't think there's anyone else in their squad. I mean, they'll have kids and stuff that I am aware of, but I don't think they've got anyone else that can play left back.
Unless they put Tyrone Mings there.
Yeah, I suppose you could put Mings there and play Dendoncker at centre back, because I forgot they'd signed him.
I mean, he's got both literally and figuratively. Tyrone Mings has the legs for it.
Yeah, and he is left side, isn't he? So, yeah, I suppose he could play there as well. Midfield, you would assume, once there's no Kamara, Douglas Luiz holding, and then McGinn and Jacob Ramsey. I like Jacob Ramsey. I think he's a really good player. McGinn is a twat, but he's a good footballer. And I have a fear, because he's already done it twice this season, and I've seen him force a good save out of a keeper twice already. Douglas Luiz shooting direct from corners. He seems to be really good at it.
Yeah.
And just the way... I know we're so much better at defending set pieces now, but it still terrifies me. Just a ball swung in well right under the crossbar. And then up top, I doubt they'll start Ings. So you'd think probably Watkins, Bailey and Coutinho.
Yeah, it seems to be what they've gone with most of this season. Although
if he's fit, Buendia could play in front of one of them.
Yeah, I mean, they've not kiss of death already, but they've not been very good this season, haven't they?
No, they've been. I mean, there's been talk that Steven Gerrard only has a couple of games to sort it out. I don't necessarily believe it's going to be that quick, but
no,
their previous results have been really poor lately.
No, I feel like they kind of ran into the issue of it not really working with Watkins and Ings playing together. And it sort of feels like they're trying to figure out the best sort of formation on the fly now. Coutinho's been in and out a little bit with Buendia. But it is a tough one. And I suppose it depends now on what you want from your striker, because I think in terms of a Premier League record, Danny Ings is a very good player to have, but if he doesn't match your team style of play, you're going to have an expensive striker on the bench.
Yeah, I say Ings is a very good player, and if you just want someone to put the ball in the net, he's brilliant for it. But he just doesn't seem to. He doesn't seem to be Gerrard's guy, does he? Right.
No. I've got to be. I'm not going to lie. I'm glad when you say that Matty Cash is not available for this one.
Yeah, he was the one I was going to come to, because he was. I mean, don't go on. Like when I think back to the game last season, we were awful. Like, we were really shit in that game. So everyone was a threat. But Matty Cash was just... Because we were playing narrow and he was just bombing forward into that space. And as much as if you give anyone the amount of room we gave him that night, they'll cause trouble, you're less scared if that's Callum Chambers. And I mean, I know he scored a really good goal, actually, in that game. But it should be a big miss for them. The main thing for us, and this is really weird to say, did you see our team news from the press conference?
I have not.
Players who are out: Adam Forshaw, Stuart Dallas, Archie Gray. That's it.
Yeah.
Everyone else is fit. Cooper is fit. Rodrigo is fit. Bamford is fit. Firpo is fit. Whether he'll play or not is a different thing. But this for me is definitely on this occasion, first time in a while that there's sort of an actual selection dilemma for March, where there's actual options. Yeah, there's actual options that can play. So what do you think it'll be?
Bedlam. Bedlam when Bamford scores. Injures himself again.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like... What did Firpo end up playing in that 21's game that we put the first team out for?
I can't actually remember how long he played. I think he played. I feel like he played an hour, but I'm not sure.
I feel like there was someone who played like half an hour or something like that, or maybe even just a half.
Firpo played 75 minutes.
Oh, okay, that's you'd probably figure at this point, given that was over a week ago now, that he'd be in contention. I think Pascal.
It was 2 weeks ago.
Jesus. I mean, I think Stroud could be hard done to if he gets dropped out of all this.
I think Stroud keeps his place and Firpo's on the bench for this one.
I suppose the big one in the defence really is Diego Llorente, who after all this, and obviously we didn't really discuss the Brentford game, but hasn't covered himself in glory so far this season. Did get a call up for Spain while Robin Koch didn't get a call up for Germany.
Yeah, I'm glad that you finished that sentence because I thought you were just going to say Diego Llorente got a call up for Spain where Robin Koch didn't.
Yeah. Thought about it.
No, Diego Llorente in that game, like, don't get me wrong, we defended terribly as a team, but Diego Llorente was absolutely terrible. Like, dreadful. And I do think that he'll drop him. I think if Cooper's fit, I think it's Cooper and Koch for this game. I think Stroud will stay in, but there was a lot of talk as well over who will play right back, and Marsh refused to commit in his press conference. But Christensen did apparently have a belting game for Denmark against France.
Well, and I think if you could have one of those for us, it'd be great.
Yeah. So I think that'll be enough for him to stay in ahead of Ayling. Ayling will be on the bench. Drama is starting in a couple of minutes for the 21s, which probably means he's the one that's out the squad entirely.
Yeah.
Which is harsh on him, to be fair, but if you've got 3 right backs, that's going to happen. If Ayling stays fit, he's out on loan in January.
Yeah, I was going to say, I dare say his agent will be lining up a loan move for him come January if everyone stays relatively fit. Yeah. I think I'm just trying to think now. It's been that long. I've forgotten who plays for us now. Melly in goal. I'm going to go with Christensen, Hop, Cooper, Strauch, Rocker and Adams.
Yeah, that one's not, unless someone gets injured. That's the one thing that definitely won't change. Rocker and Adams.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where you go with the front two. So Rodrigo's available.
He is, and that's the thing that I was surprised at because I thought the team front four was sort of picking itself before he was fit. because I was thinking Sinisterra right, Harrison left, Aronson at 10, and Bamford up front. I still think it will be that, and Rodrigo will be on the bench, which is harsh on him. But I just don't see him dropping Aronson. And you can't drop Harrison at the minute, and you can't drop Sinisterra, really.
Yeah. I do wonder if we might still try and ease Bamford back in a bit.
It's possible, but I would provided he is anything like as fit as he appears to be. Because he played plenty in that, and he's 2 weeks fitter than that in theory. I'd much rather start him, and if you want to ease him through, I'd much rather start him and take him off after an hour than bring him off the bench. And I just think the way we play, we are suited so much better if Bamford's there than if he isn't. And that's despite how well Rodrigo did at the start of the season.
Yeah. No, I think you're probably right with that one.
Yeah. It's a bit of a weird one because there's a bit of a brain that wants to go, well, look back at the recent form and stuff. And obviously Villa were playing badly. But to be honest, it don't really matter because it's sort of back at the beginning of the season, isn't it? I'm just finding the document with all our predictions and stuff on. Last time out, I had a 2-1 loss against Brentford, 2 points. You had a draw. So none. For the bet, I had Brentford and both teams to score at 3-1. So I am now up by a tenner. And you...
Did I have a wild what odds, Paddy?
Yeah, you did.
We don't have the stats to check it. Did I go with the corners, yellow cards?
There was loads of things, but there'll be a bit that I think will let it down. So I'm just going to check it very quickly because if there's one bit that lets it down, I then don't need to check all the rest. Like one of them was Sinisterra to have a shot on target, which he definitely did.
Yeah.
There's some match stats.
It's the crowd quietly waits.
Oh, as they just. You had each team 4 or more corners, and Brentford only had 2. So yeah, it's lost. So
what's the point in having massive centre backs if you're not going to get any corners?
After your strong start, you are now minus 15 quid, and I'm up a tenner.
Nightmare. I should have just settled after the early start. I thought, you know what, I'll leave this.
Yeah.
I will take that fictional tenner.
So yeah, we've got Villa at home. What is your prediction for the game, Casey?
I'm going to go with a 1-0 win for Leeds, obviously.
I'm going back to Old Trusty 3-1 win. I do genuinely. I've got. It's not just that having that long off feels a bit like pre-season. I actually sort of have pre-season optimism again because it
mid-season. Look, first, are we a quarter of the way in yet?
I don't believe.
No, because I think we.
So. Well, it's 38 games, so it'd be 9.5 would be a quarter.
Are we at 7?
Something like
that. Yeah.
7 or 8.
Sure.
We played 6.
Brilliant.
Most people have played 7, but we played 6 because the scum game got called off. As I said, because we've been in such a rush, like I'd literally just finished work. Casey's been rushing about as well. I haven't really had a chance to properly look and pick out a bet for this one, so I'm just going to go with something very simple. Let's see. I mean, it may well just be. Oh, that's not a bad special. I'll have that. Luis Sinisterra to score 7-2.
I'm going to go with. It's got here Ollie Watkins to have one or more headed shots on target at 4-1.
Watkins header on target.
Yes.
4-1. Right, cool. Very good to go. Save that. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this game just because I think I'd be looking forward to any game after this amount of gap. But I'd really like to get one over on them and sort of take advantage of, because I'm looking at the two teams with them having the injuries. And although there's not loads in it, I do think ours is better.
It's a chance to get at them, isn't it? Like Dina and Cash are definitely two big players to be missing.
Yeah, and although he's like both of those fullbacks, if they play Chambers and Young, for instance, they're not awful, and Young isn't as slow as you'd think he'd be at his age. But if Harrison and Sinisterra can get at them, and I know that we play inside a lot, but not exclusively, and they have both been pushing out, you really feel like you can get some joy there. And if it is Aronson, but even if it isn't and it's Rodrigo, that run between centre-back and full-back from the 10 position could be a really useful outlet for us.
Yeah, I think, like I say, between those injuries and kind of their form, and I know the one last time out before this, but even just watching them, they've not quite been Leicester, but it's been of that ilk, some of their performances. So yeah, like I say, I think this could be a decent time to have a go at them anyway, and especially with us possibly having two actual strikers on the pitch at the same time might be quite nice.
Yeah,
I'm not saying from the off.
There is one thing that's worth mentioning. Did you see the rearrangement of the Liverpool game?
No.
Obviously, it got picked for TV, and it was on the Sunday. But they've put Liverpool's Champions League game on the Tuesday, which has forced them to move it back to Saturday. So Leeds now play at Anfield at 7:45 on Saturday night.
Brilliant.
And I believe if you wanted to get the last train back, you would have to leave 5 minutes into the second half. It is just utterly ridiculous. Yeah, like, I mean, hopefully, it is just insane. Like, 7:45 on a Saturday is a stupid time to kick off.
Could they just not televise the game and put it back to Saturday?
They could, but I don't think that the paymasters at Sky would be very happy about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, 5 minutes in, still don't know which one he wins, but we've looked marginally better. But that is pretty much it. That is it for us. We knew this one was going to be quick because we were just going to ignore the stuff before because it was so long ago. But we will hopefully be back on, I don't know, Monday or Tuesday, depending on work and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then hopefully we can get one in back end at week because this isn't one of the week. Is this one of weeks where we have a midweek game? It isn't, is it? No, it isn't. Then the next one's Palace following Sunday. So we'll definitely do 2 in that week, unless something goes wrong. So yeah, hopefully we get the win that we both predicted. And have you ought to add, KC, before we're done?
No, I've got nothing.
Cool. It was always going to be quick. So yeah, that'll do us. Obviously, no one will be watching this live, but we'll see if there's any numbers in a couple of days, which is much more interesting. So I've been Jack. See ya.
I mean, KC, have a good one.